Peace be upon you, grade 7. We are in unit number 8 on the menu, and today's lesson is going to be grammar. We will learn about articles and when to use them and how to use them. So before we start with anything in your books, we are going to learn the rule, and we will differentiate between the types of the articles. So as you can see here, types of articles. We have two main types of articles that we will talk about today. The first one is indefinite article, like a or an, and the second type is definite article, like the. Alright, so let's start with the first one, which is indefinite article. So when do we use this type of articles? We use it with singular countable nouns. We have learned what is the difference between countable and uncountable nouns in the previous lessons. So we use the indefinite article a or an with a singular countable noun. Alright, so here we have an example. A computer. Alright, one computer, we can count it. We use a, and here we use an apple. An apple. Well, the rule here is any noun that starts with any of the vowels in English, we must to write the article an before them. This is the rule, alright? We have 5 main vowels in English: A, U, I, E, and the last one is O. Alright, so a computer and then an apple. So any words that starts with any of the vowels, and orange, it starts with O, so we have to write an, the article an. So let's move to the second type, which is definite article, the. When do we use this kind of article? We use it with singular and plural countable nouns, with singular and countable plural nouns, right? So here we have the restaurant, and the restaurant. The difference here is the S. So this means that this noun is a plural, and here restaurant, this means that this noun is singular. Also, we use it with uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns. We said that word or noun like cheese is uncountable, so we use the article the with uncountable nouns. The bread, the cheese. Alright, so right now let's move to describe when do we use an, the article an, and when do we use a. Alright, so any word that begins with a vowel, any word that begins with a vowel, and here are the vowels that we have in English. We have 5 vowels only in the alphabet. So we have A, like an apple, an apple. So the noun apple starts with A, so the article is an. Moving to the other one, which is E, an egg. An egg. The article of this noun is an because it starts with an E, and E is a vowel. The third example is an iPad. An iPad. Number 4 is an oven, the machine that you use to bake things, right? An oven. And the last vowel that we have is U, an umbrella. An umbrella. And here, when to use a, the article a, you use it with any word that begins with a consonant. Consonant letters are the rest of the alphabet, okay? So you have to know that the letters that we have here, A, E, I, O, U, are the vowels, and the rest of the letters in the English alphabet are called consonants, alright? So in brackets here you have not a vowel. So a book, a dog, a town, a cup of coffee, a house, a drink, etc. Alright? What really matters for me is I would like you to memorize these letters and know that we call these letters as vowels. The rest of the letters are called consonants. This is what really matters here, alright? And it's quite easy and simple to memorize them. Only 5 simple letters. So now let's get started with the tasks that we have in our books, and I would like you to open your student's book on page 71, and we will start with the first task, explore. Task number 1, explore. We need to read the text, find examples of the, a, and an. I'm gonna read the text for you. I would like you to follow me line by line and try to find examples that includes the articles the, and an. Alright? And as we said before, the rule for a and an, we use the article an with the nouns that starts with the vowels. Alright, so we will start with the reading. There are 3 restaurants near my house. On the high street, there's a Chinese restaurant and an Italian restaurant. The Chinese restaurant is good, but it's expensive. The Italian restaurant is cheaper and the pizzas there are brilliant. There is an Indian restaurant on Mill Lane. I don't go to the Indian restaurant because the food isn't very good. Excuse me. Alright? So what you're supposed to do here is to find examples for the articles that we talked about, the infinite and the others. Alright, you can underline them, and of course we're going to check the answers together. If you want, you can stop the video right now and you can try to do it yourself. And if you don't want to do that, we will check the answers together. And here we have the answers of task number 1, explore. So the first one, on the high street. On the high street. Third line, on the high street. So the article the high street. Alright? The second one, there is a Chinese restaurant and an Italian restaurant. Alright? Underline this sentence, please. The reason why we wrote this article before Chinese is that it starts with the letter C, and C is a consonant. And here, an Italian. So the word Italian starts with the letter I, which is a vowel. So before vowels, or before the nouns that starts with a vowel letter, we write the article an. The third example is Chinese restaurant. The Chinese restaurant. Then the Italian restaurant. Number 5 is the pizzas. Number 6 is there is an Indian restaurant, an Indian, an, because Indian starts with an I. Same for an Italian, alright? Number 7, I don't go to the Indian restaurant. I don't go to the Indian restaurant. And the last one is the food. Make sure to underline all of these sentences. And now let's move to task number 2. So in task number 2, we need to look at the examples of the, a, and an in the text. What kind of nouns do they go with? Tick or cross the boxes in the chart. So here we have this box right here, and to be able to solve this task you have to understand the rule very well. Alright, so if you don't understand it, you can go back to the rule right here. As we said, we use the indefinite article a or an with singular countable nouns. Singular countable nouns. And the indefinite article that we use it with singular and plural countable nouns and with countable nouns. This is the use of this article, and this is the use of this indefinite articles. Alright, they are written with blue color. So this is basically it. This is what you need to do in task number 2. As I told you, you can stop the video and try to do it yourself. You can go back to the rule, or you can check the answers with me right here. And here we have the answers of task number 2, explore. Alright? So the first thing that we're going to start with is the articles a and an. So these articles go with singular countable nouns. So put a tick on the column of a and an, the first one, singular countable nouns. Put a tick there. An example of this from the text is, there is a Chinese restaurant. There is a Chinese restaurant. So singular noun, right? Singular countable noun, a Chinese restaurant. Then moving to the article the, and we use it with singular countable nouns. Alright, so put a tick on singular countable nouns. An example is, the Chinese restaurant is good. The use of the article that is also with plural countable nouns. So put a tick there. An example is, the pizzas there are brilliant. And another use of the article that is, it is used with uncountable nouns, like the food isn't very good. So the uncountable noun that we have here is food. Food is uncountable, the food. The plural countable noun here is the pizzas, right? One pizza and then pizzas with the S. The singular countable noun here is the Chinese restaurant. The Chinese restaurants. Put the ticks in the correct place. And check your answers. So let's keep moving to the other tasks on this page. And right now we will move to task number 3. And here we have to write the articles a or an. What is the rule? Alright, so you have to remember the rule of using the articles a or an. We said that we use an before the nouns that starts with a vowel, and we said that we have 5 main vowels in English: O, A, U, I, and E. Alright, so try to focus. I would like you to remember this rule, because this is the rule that is meant here. Alright, so we have examples on this task from 1 to 8, and we have different nouns. Let's start with the first one. So we have banana. Which article we have to write before this noun? Banana. Alright, it's a singular countable noun, so we use a banana. Alright, number 2, English book. The word English starts with the letter E, and we said that the letter E is a vowel. So the article is an English book. The answer is an English book. We're going to do the first 4 examples together. The rest 4 you'll do it yourself, and then we will check the answers, inshallah. So number 3, egg. Same for English. The word egg starts with an E. E is a vowel. The article is an egg. Number 4 is Indian restaurant. Indian restaurant. The noun Indian starts with an I. Alright? So the article is an Indian restaurant. Look at example number 5. Spanish orange. Spanish orange. So the first word here, Spanish, starts with an S, and S is a consonant letter. So what kind of article goes with the consonant letters? Think of the correct answer. For number 6, we have enormous tomato, and the word enormous starts with an E. And E is what? Number 7, uncle, starts with U. Number 8, young American, starts with Y. You can stop the video if you may, and if you don't want, you can just check the answers here. Alright, so here we have the answers from 1 till 8. So the first one is a banana, an English book, an egg, an Indian restaurant, a Spanish orange, an enormous tomato, an uncle, a young American. Focus on the examples that includes the article an. Look at the letters that these nouns starts with U, E, I, E, and E, and we said that these are the vowels. And in this task we were asked to write what is the rule. So the rule is that we use an, it's right here, this is the rule. If you don't have a space, you can write it on your notebooks. So we use an before a word beginning with a vowel sound. Alright? We use an before a word or a noun beginning with a vowel sound. That's basically it for task number 3. And before we move to task number 4, I brought you this picture here, and it shows the vowels that we have in English, right? So the noun here, the picture here is apple. So the noun or the word itself starts with the letter A. So we write an apple for any word that starts with the letter A. Elephant. Elephant. The word elephant starts with E. The vowel used for this word is an elephant, an iceberg, an orange, an umbrella. Alright, so this is the rule. Right now let's move to task number 4, and here we have to study the text in exercise 1 again. Okay, we have to study the text in exercise 1. So we have to go back to the text that we have read, and then circle the correct words in the rules below and complete the examples. Alright? Okay, so before we move to the text and task number 1 or exercise number 1, let's read the learn this box that we have. And here we have 2 main examples. The first one is we use a or an or the when we mention something for the first time. So it's a multiple choice question, so we have to put a circle on the correct answer after we go back to the text that we have in task number 1. There is space supermarket in my street. There is space supermarket in my street. So what is the correct article to write in this space? Is it there is a supermarket in my street? there is an supermarket in my street, or there is the supermarket in my street. Moving to sentence number 2, we use a or an or the when we mention something again. So the food at space supermarket is expensive. What is the correct answer to put here? Is it the article A, the food at a supermarket is expensive? Or the food at the supermarket is expensive? Or the food at an supermarket is expensive? So when you go back to the text that we have read, the only thing that you need to do is to remember the rules of using these articles. Alright? So you can stop the video right now. Try to put the correct answers within this learn this box. And we will check the answers in a while. Okay then, so let's move to the answers of task number 4, explore. And here we have the answers. For number 1, we use a or an when we mention something for the first time. So we use these articles when we mention something for the first time. An example of this, there is a supermarket in my street. There is a supermarket in my street. Alright? And don't forget the rule of using a or an. A supermarket, why? The word here starts with an S. S is a consonant letter or a consonant sound. Alright? Number 2, we use the when we mention something again. The food at the supermarket is expensive. So at the beginning you mentioned the supermarket for the first time, so that's why we use the article a or an, depending on the letter that the noun starts with. And then the second thing that you need to know, that we use the when we mention something again for the second time. So the food at the supermarket is expensive. The answers are written with the red color, so please put the answers in the correct place. Right now we will move to the second part of the page, which is exploit, and here we have 2 main tasks that we're going to start with. Alright, so task number 1, we have to circle the correct words in the text. Alright, so here we have a text that we have to read first, and then it's like a multiple choice question for each sentence. And you have to put a circle on the correct article depending on the rule that we have learned, right? So let's start reading the text. Please follow me line by line. In 2001, Richard Evans went to, is it a or the? So it's already written for us. In 2001, Richard Evans went to a pizza parlor near his house and bought a large or the large. While I'm reading, try to guess the correct articles and try to answer them. So, I will start over. In 2001, Richard Evans went to a pizza parlor near his house and bought large vegetarian pizza. When he got home, he opened, is it a or the box, and saw that it was meat pizza. He went back to a or the shop and complained. Or the waiter apologized, but Richard was still angry, so he found his local newspaper. Or the reporter said that lots of people complained about getting a or the wrong pizza from the same pizza parlor. Choose the correct article, please. Now we are in number 9. So newspaper wrote an article or the article about a pizza or the pizza parlor. Now pizza parlor is very careful when it takes orders. So let's move and check the answers together. The first one is A. Richard Evans went to a pizza parlor. The second one is A. And bought a large vegetarian pizza. For number 3, the correct answer is the. He opened the box. Number 4, the answer is A meat pizza, not the meat pizza. He went back to the. He went back to the shop. The correct answer for number 5 is the. Number 6 is the. The waiter apologized. The waiter apologized. Number 7 is the. So the reporter said that lots of people complained about getting a wrong pizza. So number 8 is, number 8 is the wrong pizza. Number 9 is the newspaper wrote. Number 10 is an article. The word article starts with an A, so it's a vowel. That's why the article is an. Number 11 is the pizza parlor. And the last one, which is number 12, is the pizza parlor is very careful when it takes orders. That's it for task number 1, exploit. Please check your answers and check that you have put the circle on the correct article. Right now we will move to task number 2, exploit. What do we need to do here is to read the information in the learn this box. So we have another learn this box. We have to read the information given within this box, and then we have to complete the sentences with the articles that we have learned, a, an, or the, or take them if they are correct without an article. Alright? So right now I would like you to look at the learn this box that you have on the second part of this page, exploit task number 2, and we will start explaining what's in there inside this box. So we have some common expressions include an article and others do not. So this means that some expressions in English, right, includes an article and others not. We have 2 main columns here. The first one, no articles. So this means that these expressions, we don't use articles with them. And for the second column, we use articles with these expressions. So let's start with the first one, with no article. So play football. We don't say a play football and play football or the play football. So this means that these expressions are written without articles. Play football, tennis, basketball, etc. Watch television, have breakfast, lunch or dinner, go to school, work, hospital, university, at night. So with these expressions we don't use the articles. The second column, the first example given is listen to the radio. Listen to the radio. The radio, the article the is there. See a film, the article a is there. Have a snack or have a drink or have a sandwich. With all of these examples we use the article a. Go to the theater, the cinema, the doctors. The last example, during the day, in the morning, afternoon, evening. During the day, we use the article the. In the morning, the article the. In the afternoon or in the evening. So with all of these expressions, we use the article the. Under this box, you have examples from 1 to 8. You have to read them carefully. Put a tick on the examples that you don't have to use an article with them. So the first one and the second one are done for us. Let's read them together. So the first one, he goes to work by train. So we don't use any articles here. He goes to work by train. The second one, I went to the cinema last night. I went to the cinema last night. So with this noun, cinema, we use the article that. I went to the cinema. So now let's read the rest of the examples, and while I'm reading, try to solve and put the correct answers. Number 3, he never eats anything before he goes to school. So going to school is in the column of no article. So when you don't have to write an article, put a tick. Number 4, my sister is a nurse and often works at night. Do you use an article with night or not? Try to put the answer. Number 5, he usually does his homework in morning. Let's have snack before we go out. Number 7, what time do you usually have dinner? Number 8, I sometimes listen to radio on the bus. Number 9, I want to go to university when I leave school. And number 10, which is the last one, I never watch TV before breakfast. So you can refer to the box that you have and put the correct answers. It's always a good choice to give yourself a chance to solve these questions. Alright, so right now we will move to the answers of task number 2, exploit. The first one, we will add a tick because it's correct without adding any articles. So, he goes to work by train. The second one, the article here is the. I went to the cinema last night. Number 3 is correct without any articles. So he never eats anything before he goes to school. Alright? So we cannot write to the school or to a school, to an school. Number 4, my sister is a nurse and often works at night. This whole sentence is correct, so you have to put a tick. Number 5, he usually does his homework in the morning. In the morning. You can go back to the box and you can see that we use the article the when you want to explain about the timing. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. Example number 6, let's have a snack before we go out. Let's have a snack before we go out. The article used here is a. Number 7, the whole sentence is correct without using any articles. So what time do you usually have dinner? Put a tick here. Number 8, the answer is the. The article is the. I sometimes listen to the radio on the bus. So we said that we use the article that with these expressions: listen to the radio, see a film, etc. Number 9, put a tick. The whole sentence is correct. I went to the university. I want to go to the university when I leave school. And the last example is also correct. I never watch TV before breakfast. So as you can see here on the video, put a tick on the examples that has these numbers. And right now let's move to your homework. And it's going to be on page 64, task number 5. And task number 5 is similar to the task number 1, exploit, and task number 1, explore. It's almost the same. So you have to read the text that you have on this page and try to complete the dialogue between Jack and Kathy with the correct articles that we have learned, an, or that. And to put these articles in the correct place, you have to go back to the rule and read it for one more time. If you have any doubts or inquiries, you can ask me through your parents' WhatsApp groups. And that's it. All the best.